Welcome back to part 3 of the platinum jewelry refining series of videos. That's our platinum sponge, impure platinum sponge from part 1, or from part 2 rather. Now what I've got is the material that was left in this funnel here. It's not all that much. So what we're going to do, I believe, I'm going to try to burn this filter paper. And it's dry now, so I can go straight to maximum heat to try to get this thing burnt. If you remember back in part 1, we had 33 grams of scrap platinum, and in part 2 I recovered 30 grams of platinum sponge, pure platinum sponge. So we could have as much as 3 grams in here, probably not. Some of it's going to be have to be chopped up to a loss. Yeah, we had quite a bit up in that straw. See that? Squirt this off with a bit of ammonium chloride water. This stuff is like honey, it gets everywhere. And it's highly toxic. Just ruined my advantage of having dry filter. I'm going to add a little bit of heat. Bring this up real slow because I did dampen it with some ammonium chloride water to get that that precipitate out of that straw. So we'll just start heating this up slowly and then add more heat as it evaporates and burn the rest of the platinum that's in this filter. I've got a propane torch, a flame cut down low. It's going to direct it at this paper and try to burn the rest of this up manually. I think we got this burned up pretty good now. I'm going to turn the heat off, let this cool down, and then see what we got. If you remember in part 2, we determined that we had 30 grams of impure platinum sponge in here. So what we're going to do is put this on the scale, zeroed out. Now we're going to add this newly recovered stuff from that filter. It's going to have remnants of carbon from the filter in it, but I don't think that's going to be a problem with what we're going to do next. So we've got it zeroed out. Let's see how much more platinum we got here. About 2 grams. Now level. So we're going to call it 2 more grams of pure platinum or impure platinum sponge that we've recovered from that 33 grams of platinum scrap jewelry. So here's what we're going to do next. I've got a stir bar. I'm adding it to this 2-liter beaker. Now I'll add the impure platinum sponge into the beaker. These little spatulas, these straws, make an excellent tool for scraping stuff like this off the bottom of our reaction dish here. It'll conform to the contour of the bottom of the dish. I'm going to add about 300 milliliters of hydrochloric acid to our platinum in here. I fetched my 29% hydrogen peroxide from the refrigerator. Someone recommended that I store it in a cold environment, so I started doing that. Now I'm going to measure out about 300 milliliters of 29% hydrogen peroxide. Okay, make sure my valve is off down here on my funnel. Now we're going to add 300 milliliters of 29% hydrogen peroxide to our funnel. Turn on the stir bar and start adding some heat. You need to go pretty high with this heat for this reaction to progress. I'm going to start a flow of hydrogen peroxide down into our reaction beaker, just drips at a time. Go. Putting a cover up here, and what we'll do is just let this go on time lapse and see if we can get the rest of this metal or this impure platinum sponge to dissolve in hydrochloric acid and hydrogen peroxide. I think we've got everything put in solution now, and I'm going to rinse down the inside of the beaker, some hydrochloric acid, and what we'll do is turn this off, turn the heat off, and let this cool down. I've allowed it to cool, but it appears that we may have a problem, because if you look at the bottom of this beaker, I've got a fine layer of sediment on the bottom. You see that? And that's undissolved PGMs, I believe. I thought everything would go into solution, but I was wrong. So now we're going to back up and punt here. Here you can see the residue on the bottom of the beaker down there. It's black PGM powders that did not dissolve. I'm adding some hydrochloric acid, about, let's go with another 300 milliliters. I'm going to add some stirring. I'm going to add some heat. We're going to start dripping in some 29% hydrogen peroxide. I think that's about a good rate right there. And what we'll do is put this on time lapse and just let it react. When I started dripping in the hydrogen peroxide, I would have expected to see that foam on top of the reaction there to be a red color signifying platinum, but it looked like it was more of a green color, so that was baffling to me when I first started this reaction. I'm going to shut this off. All the hydrogen peroxide has been drained down into it. It's been on here boiling for a couple hours now. And so what I'm going to do, this looks like it still has solids in it. I'm not sure why, after all that hydrogen peroxide. I'm going to try a couple drops of nitric acid, not very much, and just see what happens here when I put in a couple drops of nitric. Get a little bit of a reaction. That solution looks awful dirty to me. It does not look like a clean platinum solution. I don't know what's in there. But what we'll do now, I guess, is just turn this off, turn the stir bar off, turn the heat off, and let it settle out and cool down, see what we got. Get in here and get a Stannis test and see what we got going on with this solution. Platinum. Definitely got platinum. Okay, here's the baffling thing about this. I've still got a ton of solids down on the bottom of this beaker. Black material. Not quite sure what that is yet. I've allowed this to settle completely. I'm holding a light behind the beaker. And if you notice there, we've got a nice red solution, and the solids have settled out completely on the bottom of our beaker. I've got the doors to my shop open, and I've got a nice cross breeze blowing through here. Plus, I'm wearing a mask. So now what we're going to do is use the vacuum bottle to get this solution out of our beaker. Here's a look at the solids. It's not that much. It's just a light coating on the bottom of this beaker. I think this may be iridium. Okay, what I'll do is decant off that solution, add it to my stock pot, and I'll rinse this black powder over and over. This is our iridium. I'll rinse it over and over, get all that solution off of there, and then we'll dry it out and save it. I've got my doors open in my shop, and I've got a nice cross breeze blowing that way towards my vacuum pump to carry any of these vapors out of my work area. Now we're going to go ahead and filter our solution. If you look in the bottom of the flask, up here, you can see there's some black material. That's probably a little bit of the iridium. Got the platinum solution filtered into this flask now. Let's get a status test. Nice orange stain for platinum. This is what we collected in the filter. That's going to probably be some more iridium. the solution up here on our heater and just slowly evaporate this to reduce the amount of liquid in our solution. We've got it evaporated down enough. I'm going to kill the heat. I'm going to pull our solution down off the heating pad and let this cool down. While I'm waiting for the solution to cool and figure out what I'm going to do next, I'm going to offer this ring for sale on my eBay site. It is a 10-karat gold ring. It has 10, 10, 8, and 8, and these are about 1.5 millimeter diamonds. It has 6x6 rows, 36 diamonds in all, and these are 2.3 millimeter diamonds, 36 of those. 9.5. I know it fits on my finger. All right, the weight is 12.6 grams of 10K gold. I buffed most of the scratches out of this thing, so it looks pretty decent, but it's been rode hard, worn hard. There's a dent right there. Not much, just a little bit. But other than that, it's in pretty good condition. We'll offer this for sale on my eBay store, and I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. I've got our platinum solution in here cooling down. Here is our iridium. Looks pretty good right there. And I'm not quite sure how to proceed with this. I'd like to try to do a hydrolysis. I've got a dosing pump and some sodium bromate here to do a hydrolysis, but I don't know what parameters to use. I don't know what concentrations to use, and I'm completely in the dark on how to proceed here. So if there's any platinum refiners out there looking at the video and got some insight for me, that would surely be appreciated. So this will conclude the video, part 3. Thank you for watching.